Hello, I'm Divashni, a first year vet student. In this video, I will be explaining about behaviors of dairy cattle and basic handling techniques. First, we will look into grazing behavior of cattle. Grazing behavior is one of the important behavior in any livestock animals. It is not usually affected by environmental conditions such as temperature and plant species. Cattle graze 8 hours per day. Cattle have wide mouths and inflexible upper lips to take larger clumps of forage into their mouths. They usually feed on dead materials than any other ruminants. So there's lack of selectivity in the material they feed, and pattern of each herd member is relatively similar. Dominance in dairy cattle is based on age, sex and weight. Heavier dairy cattle are dominant to lighter breeds. Cattle follow leadership followership herd structure. Dairy cattle placed in new herds and exposed to dominance struggle involving aggression, it will show reduce in milk production. For sexual behavior, dairy cattle usually undergoes 8 to 24 hours of each cycle. Due to stress behavior, dairy cattle have reduced food intake, increased movement, standing behind another cow, increased lifting and sniffing. Dairy cattle usually rest 10 to 12 hours per day by lying. Lying also have impact on eating social behavior of dairy cattle. For the next part, we will look into cattle handling. Cattle have a zone called flight zone around them. Flight zone is a distance within a person and an animal where can approach animal before it moves away. Cattle move away from people when people enter into their flight zone. When a cattle looks relaxed, it means flight zone is reduced. Flight zone also has influence on a cattle's behavior. Cattle can be calmed by scratching under the neck and behind the ears. It is known that flight distance in beef cattle is usually higher than in dairy cattle. This results in more frequent handling with people on dairy farm. The flight distance can be 2 meters or less. Size of flight zone depends on tameness of the animal. The closer we get, the faster the cattle will move away. Cattle also have blind spot where they can't notice someone approaching from behind. It is due to the monocular vision of cattle. Cattle handlers must always avoid approaching from the blind spot. Head restraining method is a way to minimize head movement by securing the cattle's head. It can be done using few knots with a rope. Some of them are bowline, halter tie and quick release. Point of balance is 2 balance lines for cattle. It is a line where it provokes movement of animal. Moving in front, the point of balance can cause the cattle to move backwards, and moving behind the point of balance can cause the cattle to move forward. Point of balance play a major role to control the direction of movement of a cattle. Last but not least, in this subject, I learned why is it important for us to understand the behavior of a livestock or any animal. Understanding a behavior of an animal can improve both safety of handler and the animal itself.